I'm Dan Galusha. Welcome to another edition of Shooting Plink. Today it's going to be a little bit different. We are going to be shooting, but we're going to be sighting in. In fact, it's this Marlin right here. This is a Marlin Carbine. It's a 4570. Never fired one of them. But it isn't my gun. It belongs to Ken McCool. He's a former ranger of Scott County Conservation in Iowa. And he watches our video series, and he also is a friend of mine, and he would like for me to try to sight this in for him. It has a Skinner sight up here, as you can see. I tell you, we got bugs all over, as you can well tell. But we're going to be trying to sight this in, and we're going to do it in a couple of stages. One is we're going to be using this Real Avid laser sight. We're going to do that about 25 yards, see how it sets up, and we're going to take it from there. And then we're going to end up going over to the 50-yard lane, which I will probably shoot at 25 for one, and then move back to the 50. But again, that's a different area. I usually shoot the higher powered stuff there. I don't do it up here, because this is more rim fire, up to 9mm actually. I will shoot my 9s here, but mainly it's rim fire and also air guns. And so that's the rest of the stuff is all done over there in that 50-yard lane. Anyway, what I'm going to do is get set up, and we'll see how this sight's in. Well, as you can see, I've got my Real Avid laser sight in the front, and or rather bore sighter, and we're going to be aiming that down here at it. I've got kind of a, I don't know what you're going to call it. It's a yellowish, golden yellow target with a black bullseye in front of it. And that's what we're going to use to, in fact, we're even going to shoot at that here in a little bit. When we go to the spot. But at the moment, we're going to put this down here. We're going to see how we have to adjust this, see how well we can see it, because I'm going to let you see it on camera and see if I can see that green. It's got to be somewhere down there. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's low, in fact, where it looks. So I think we're going to have to raise it. I will show you. You can see, you might be able to see this green dot better than I can. It's kind of funny, because sometimes when the camera is zoomed in like that, you can. But I think it's low, looking at it. Yeah, I can see it. It's under, yeah, it's actually under the target, so it is low. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to raise this sight. Okay, I messed around with it a little bit. I've really got this extended way out on the peep sight. I think really this thing, what it needs is a it's probably a little bit shorter front sight. Skinner has some, in fact, but I really think that might be the problem. I've got it right on the bullseye right at the moment. If you can see where that green light is, I'll move it around a little bit. You can see down there perhaps, and it's just below that bullseye. Well, I really can't go up any higher. I don't know what it's going to be like when we shoot it. We might take it over and we'll fire around just to see what it will do. You can see the target up there, and it's that's actually about 30 yards from where I'm going to be firing this. And it's the same block of wood. I set it on top of another one, and we're going to use that at 50 as well, depending on what I do right now. So let's see what this does. Okay, I'm going to put a round in. I've got this loaded with 4 rounds. And we'll see what one does, and then I'll go up there. I'll probably have to pick the block up, because this will probably blow it right off of there. Okay, we'll take a look, see where it hit. Well, from what I could tell, it hit pretty doggone low. I'm going to fire another one out here. And then if it does the same thing, in fact, I'm not even putting this one on the stand, because I really can't get a good lift on that. Although, why don't we take it back to 50 yards, just for the heck of it. see what we got going here. And here. Put this gun on safe, then we'll go back to 50 yards and we'll shoot this at least one time and see what it'll do. All right, I think you can see that up there. In fact, I know you can, probably better than I can. But we're going to fire around at that from this distance. Take the safety off, and we'll see what happens with it. Brought the block back with me so you could see. It hit the block, just did not hit the paper. It's low, it's right here where it hit. You can see, right in there. Still didn't really find where the other one hit that we shot at 25 yards. But this one hit right here, and I'm sure it wasn't the 25 one. So it's off about that far. I really think the sights, the front sight, needs changed out. And if I've got one, I'll ask Ken for his permission to change it out. And then we'll come back and we'll do this again another day. Because I want to finish this up. And it might be a week or so. Okay, I did what I said. I went home, and it's been probably over a week now. And I redid the sight, the front sight. But I was unable to do what I wanted to do, which was put a Henry brass bead sight up there, and the ones I had just would not fit. I don't even think they make them for that, because this is much more narrow in here. And also the dovetail itself did not fit this. So we just forgone that, and same with the Skinner. I had some Skinner sights, and they were naturally for Henrys. So what I've done is I have filed this down and painted it white up in the front like I've done with others. I bore sighted it with the Real Avid laser bore sight like we did before at 25 yards, and then I'm going to shoot, and I don't know, we might fire 1 or 2 rounds here, and then if things look good, we'll move back to 50 yards and see how it works there, because I told Ken I will try to get it sighted in at 50 yards. So let's start shooting. Okay, looks like from here I did hit paper, I think. Let me take a look at that and we'll find out. It's hard for me to tell. That center's pretty chewed up, so I kind of think it's hitting it. Why don't we move on back to 50 yards anyway? I know I'm coming right close to center in that area, and that's really what Ken wants us sighted in for, and we want enough rounds to do that. So I've got, I think, a couple more in there, and we'll just take that back to 50 and see how that works. I got to put a new target up there because that one's really chewed up. Well, I know it's going to be hard for you to see. I got a shoot and see up there. I can't re-zoom in because this camera just will not keep up with it. Got a few rounds in here. Don't have too many left, so hopefully I can get that thing. This has really been a challenge to get this one sighted in. Now I shot that one low just on purpose because I wanted to see something. Yep. Okay. Now I see. Take another look. Yeah, that's better. And I'm out. Well, it's hitting paper at 50 yards. It's hitting in that area. And I'll go get it. I'll show it to you, what it's doing and what we did before. And we'll take it from there. As I said, I went up to get the target. This is it right here. In fact, I had one round earlier go over, and it actually hit this that was laying on the, just laying up above there. But here's what we did. Towards the end, I was actually sighting for down into this area. I could not see this red, and that's what I wanted to shoot at. I couldn't see it, so I was just going trying to find some center. And this is a grouping of them right here. So it's pretty good at 50 yards with that. I would like to turn that peep sight down one turn, maybe even a half a turn. I know it would be low if you fired it this way, but you bring it up a little bit and you should be right in there. This was the one that I'd said the one time about shooting off to the side. Now this is where we shot at 30 yards. I'll show you. This is the center of the target at 30 yards, and I was firing right through there. So I knew at 30 yards I was on pretty good. And so the gun itself is nice. And I was going to show you about that. You know, I talked about a jam. I had one little hiccup there towards the end on about the last round. Couldn't quite do it, but it worked. You want to make sure that you come all the way out like this, because you can see how long of a throw this thing's got. I mean, that's a long one. And some people might only go like, you know, this or whatever, and just not get it through. But you got to go all the way forward with this, or you probably will get a jam. But this particular gun, if you do, has got some sort of a button right down here that Ken was talking about to help you get rid of that. Well, I didn't have to worry about that because it worked. And as I said, it's a pretty good gun. I've never fired one of them before. It's a carbine. I mean, we're shooting 50 yards with a carbine. So, you know, that can be expected too. But we're also shooting a much more powerful round than what normally we do here on Shoot and Plink. This will probably be, that I know, I'm not going to say definite, but it'll probably be the only time that I know that we're shooting something like this here on Shoot and Plink. Now, who would I like to actually have take a look at this and sight this in? Without a doubt, Andy Larson. Andy's the king of the peep sights because he owns Skinner peep sights. And I should say Skinner sights because they have peeps, they have ladders, they have other accessories, rod cases, scopes. Oh, the best scope, as you know. I mean, if you watch Shoot and Plink, you know how I rave about Skinner scopes. Just absolutely love the things. That red dot scope is just fantastic, to me it is. But as far as this goes, this rifle, this Marlin 4570, you know what I'd have liked to have done is I actually shot this thing with the open sights, which are right here, and they fold down, by the way. See, it folds down right here like that. So you got those out of the way. That's good. I would have liked to have done that just to see what happened. I mean, the Skinner peep sight is my favorite anyway. I just don't like the way, sorry about the noise, we have it here all the time, as you know. Cedar Oaks is a busy place on the highway out here, and we're at the end of the 50-yard range, which is even a little closer. Anyway, yeah, the gun shoots pretty doggone good. It's got a definite recoil to it. I mean, you're going to get some recoil out of this thing. Otherwise, yeah, not bad. Ken should be able to hit at 50, as you can see, because that's at 50 on that 6-inch circle. And so I was able to hit that. If I was shooting at a gong, that it would work, but I don't have a gong that stand up to 4570. I got an AR 600, but I got a hold of Shooting Target 7 and asked Mark there if that 600 would hold up to a 4570. He says, no, don't use it on it. So I didn't. Otherwise, I'd have probably been shooting at that to see what would happen. And as I said, if I was shooting at a 6-inch gong, that means I would have hit it at 50 yards with this gun. So anyhow, I'll get that back to Ken, and I thank Ken McCool for letting us use it here on Shoot and Plink. I mean, it was definitely an adventure for us. And what the heck, it looks like Ken's got a lot of brass for himself too. Quite a bit. That's the size of that thing, by the way. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.